Hi, so today we are going to do the cinnamon bread that I've posted, I think, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And this is an updated version. And the reason why I'm doing an updated version is I have a nephew who can't have dairy, and I recently have discovered one of my kids can't have dairy. She does better without it. So this is a version that technically is not only gluten-free, since we're using a natural yeast dough that has processed, but we're also making this dairy-free, and technically it's vegan. We're going to be using coconut oil, a virgin cold-pressed coconut oil, so it will have a little bit of a coconut taste. But I enjoy that. If you don't, then you're welcome to use a coconut oil that doesn't have that flavor. But really quick, it's same method, just different ingredients. So we're going to start by getting our parchment paper wet with some drinking water. And this way, that gluten-free element that you've created with the natural yeast dough maintains throughout our recipe. Now this is how I do pizza dough as well. I use cold, well, it doesn't have to be cold, but I use drinking water is what I wanted to say, in place of a recipe that would have you putting down an extra layer of flour to work with us. We're using the water instead to work through the stickiness of the dough and make the shape that we want. And the shape that you want is just going to keep the shape of your bar pan. It's just going to be a rectangle. We don't have to sit and measure it with a ruler. It just needs to be in your parchment paper about a rectangle shape. Now once you have this pressed out the way that you want, we do deal with how we layer the ingredients differently than we do with butter, just for the fact that a lot of times, especially where I live, a warm kitchen creates a really runny coconut oil. So I have found that the best way to deal with that is to put down the cinnamon first. So what we're going to do, I've got about 2 tablespoons left in my cinnamon. I'm not going to measure. We're baking. We're not making it it's not a science experiment that's going to blow up in our faces. If you don't like a lot of cinnamon, then you can hold back on how much you use. But I use about a tablespoon, and I put that as my first layer. The next ingredient I'm going to put down is brown sugar. I'm loosely measuring this. I'm basically just following the cinnamon that I just put down and spreading it across the cinnamon. That is about 1/3 to 1/2 cup. If I were to press it, it would for sure be 1/3 of a cup, but that's enough. We just covered up our cinnamon, and then we're going to take our coconut oil and make a layer across. So once you have your coconut oil, how much you want to use, it's going to be 3 to 4 tablespoons worth of coconut oil that you'll put down on the top of your brown sugar. Once you have that, what you'll do is you'll use drinking water again to grab up the sides of your dough. So just real quick, this is what the middle looks like. And you're going to take your wet hand and take the sides of the dough and lift it to the center. And you'll do that all the way around. And at the center, once you have all four sides brought up together, you'll start pinching. So let me get this last side up and I'll show you what I mean. So we get our last side up and you're going to pinch at the top. And you want to be careful not to pinch into the middle of some of that coconut oil because the dough won't stick. It'll just be loose, and that's okay. It's not a deal breaker because what we're going to do before we bake it is cut a few slits for it to have a vent, a place for the hot air to escape as it bakes. Especially since we have ingredients inside, you definitely want to have a vent. Otherwise, you're going to have a loaf of bread, and all the middle part, all the cinnamon and sugar and oil is going to be surrounding your bread instead of staying inside your bread. So, to do a vent, all you need is a knife, and you'll cut straight down 3 or 4 slits in the middle, and that's it. We're going to bake for 30 to 35 minutes at 400, and that's it.